Hola, konnichiwa, and kampai. Kampai. Tonight we are sampling. Well, we don't need to sample because we know it's amazing. Qingdao. Tsingtao. Some say Qingdao. Some say Tsingdao. Some say Qingdao. Whatever. Best beer on the planet. None of that pub crap. All right, so I wanted to clarify something. I watched last night's video earlier, and I just want to say that there was some things that I said about the Northern Zone that I was getting a little bit mixed up with. The reason I implemented some of the things that I did was because they had spent a couple of weeks not doing certain things because there was no specific leader. So the callings had gone amiss. They didn't know who to call. So I mean, throughout that time, they were calling me anyway. If they had a problem, if they had, the support team was calling me anyway to talk to managers and things like that. So it wasn't because they weren't doing it. It was because of the sabbatical that Andy Ward was on. For a few weeks, they were kind of on their own. So it wasn't until I sort of took that on that that I implemented those things back for them. And then, like I say, there was, Anthony Ryan came along, kicked me out, and but wasn't running the zone. It was just the name for the zone. So what I'm going to talk about today. Well, today, we're going to talk about the little skimming off the top. You know what I mean? A bit of this, phase that go in, and we just skim it off the top. I'll tell you what happened. Right. So when you become a successful manager within GKR, you are allowed to run a tournament, as in you are in charge of the tournament. I never really did any reffing anyway in tournaments until probably the Open division. Me and Daniel Taylor, we just run the rings, made sure everything was running on the rings. But yeah, so because of the level that I was at, I was running my own referee courses. Shian Stacey Correzian gave Daniel Taylor and I the only two managers in the country level 6 referee, which means that we can run referee courses, we can oversee referees, etc. Basically, it's zone director level. So I was running my own referee courses. I was running tournaments. The first tournament I ever ran, it was kind of scary because I don't know what I'm doing. It's all on an Excel spreadsheet. You make sure the codes are right, and again, we were still in this little house and my office was upstairs. So you can imagine spending 3 or 4 days, because it took at least 3 or 4 days to actually go through and make sure the tournament was all where it should be. And the referees and things. So, you can imagine 3 and 4 days of me and Bob in this toilet-sized bedroom. It got a little bit cooped. So we did that. We planned the tournament. I knew what I was doing from that point forwards. And then it was the night of the setup. Managers met up at the venue, Coxmore Woods Leisure Centre. It was. Managers met up. We laid out all the rings. We laid out all the tables. Made sure all the table toppings were there. Made sure all the scorecards were there. Made sure all the skirts around the tables, I don't know what you want to call them, made sure everything was set up properly. And then afterwards, we'd go out for dinner. So we went to this really, really expensive Italian restaurant in Birmingham. We were staying at the, I forget where. It was on Broad Street. The hotel was on Broad Street. I can't remember the name of the hotel, but we generally stayed there every tournament. And on Broad Street there was this really, really nice Italian restaurant, and it was expensive. So we ordered whatever we wanted. Everyone ordered whatever we wanted. We ordered champagne, we ordered drinks. Everyone, I don't know what the bill came to. It came to a stupid amount. Anyway, Bob said, I'll sort it. I'm like, okay. He said, don't worry, I've got an idea. I'm like, all right, okay. Whatever you want to do. Let me just backtrack a little bit. Whenever you run a tournament, the tournament fees are separated from other fees. And they go onto your report. They're reported as tournament fees, region, whatever your region name is. Now, back then, all the tournament fees went to one region. So the region I ran was Region 31. So all the Central Zone would bank their tournament fees under Region 31, which means that Region 31 would then profit from all the tournament fees from the whole tournament. And back then, we were running tournaments of maybe 600 competitors in a day. That was pretty freaking... It was a long day. We started at 9, we finished at about 7 p.m, 9 a.m. till 7 p.m. It was a long day. So I would profit greatly from other regions because I was managing the tournament. Towards the back end, tournament fees were banked under individual regions. So basically, the more people that you got to tournament, the better your region would profit. Okay? Anyway, back to the night at hand. So Bob said, don't worry about it, just, I'll sort it. Just come and see me tomorrow. I'm like, okay. So what happens is when people come to tournaments, not only have they paid the tournament fee, they've also maybe bought equipment, but they also pay a spectator's fee. So when people come in, I forget what it was. I think it was £12 for a family. I forget what the fees were, but we had to manage every single pound that came through the door. So what happened was the spectators' fees, you can generally make at least, on the door, you're making at least £1,000, okay? Which means that to a manager in my position, 40% of the profit, you're probably making 400 quid just for turning up, okay? Easy money, easy peasy. But what Bob decided he wanted to do was the money that he'd paid out on his business card for the God knows how many hundreds of pounds meal it was, we took that out of the door fees. So not only did I, as a business, lose money, I also paid for everybody's dinner. So I thought, all right, that's the precedence now. Is the thing that he did authorise was the managers that were staying over for the setup, that were staying over on the Friday. It was generally on a Saturday, so we'd stay over Friday night, we'd set up Friday night, and we'd stay over and do the tournament on Saturday. The managers had to book a hotel. We would skim that off the top of the we'd pay for it, but then we'd skim off the top of the spectator fees. And the manager was staying over, their meal was free, so we'd skim that off the top of the spectator fees as well. So basically, the manager running the tournament would subsidise not only his meal and hotel room, it also subsidise anybody else who was staying over. So if it's in Birmingham, for example, which Coxmore is, and it's a Birmingham manager that comes over, helps out, they pay for their own meal, they pay for everything themselves. The meals would come to maybe £300-400 for the night, of which that comes out of the door. So we were basically, the spectator fees from students and parents were actually paying for our hotel room and our food, and not to mention the amount of alcohol that we had that night as well. So yeah, there was skimming off the top. I can remember one time that some guy, forget the guy's name, some guy got his glasses broken, and Bob, being Bob, didn't fill out the insurance forms properly. So what he decided to do was give him 250 quid or 200 quid out the door takings. So it was meant to come off GKR's insurance because it was claimable for GKR's insurance, but it didn't do that. My door takings were down 250, 200 quid, whatever they were, for this guy's pair of glasses. So Bob was skimming as well. Bob was allowing me to skim. Crazy, isn't it? I won't say anything right now that's going to incriminate me. But, so yeah, that's pretty mad, isn't it? Students paid for this guy's new glasses. Students paid for our hotel and our steak ricini. Steak ricini is the prime cut of beef. It's about this thick. It's about so round. And it's medium rare. There's no fat on it whatsoever. And you get it with some fries. You get it with the red wine jus. It comes on... it's on a piece of fried bread, or there's some sort of bread underneath with some pate on top. Mwah! It's my last meal. It's a 20 odd quid steak, and we didn't scrimp on the sides either. We didn't scrape on the bottles of Moe that we had either. Thank you, students. No, but I just thought, do you know what? Bob's authorised it, so I'm going to carry on doing it. So that's what we did. We just, hotels were free. Because again, you knew you were going to get at least $1,000 on the door. So as long as you could report so much to GKR, then yeah, all gravy, innit? So yeah, that's what tournaments basically did. Yeah, when it comes to the Northern Zone tournaments, which I was running in charge of, I actually pissed off one of the managers. Well, it was a zone. Oh, was he? No, it might have been a manager. He was sat there, Neil Thomas. He was sat there, and he Mindy loves me doing these because it's like, shit, you can't do that. I can. He was sat there writing the referee list, and it's like, well, I've always had everything prepped so that on the day, the only thing I've got to do is plug in my laptop, plug in the printer, and I'm done. That's it. But Neil Thomas was writing the referee list out, so I said to him, "Shouldn't that have been done last night? Or at least a day or two before." Well, yeah, it should, but I didn't get this until whatever time. Okay, I'm just saying. He complained. I had a one-on-one with Bob and Andy, and he complained to me. And I said to them, if this guy is going to complain about that, geez, the guy needs a checkup from the neck up. He's got some, what a wuss. Oh, James said something wrong to me. Anyway, Min loves my subliminal messages. So yeah, I did annoy a lot of people. I annoy a lot of people anyway. I know a lot of people daily. I know people weekly. I annoyed a lot of people within GKR. They just didn't like the way I was. That's fine. I'm annoying a lot of people now, even doing these videos. Some of the managers, zone directors don't like it. I emailed a couple of the zone directors just to let them know they're going to be, spoke about. Lo and behold, I don't get anything back because they're just like, "Oh, no, you not talk to James. He crazy, man. He crazy. Or, no, mate, you don't talk to James. He's bloody crazy, mate. Oh, g'day, James. Bob here." yeah, whatever. That's tournament. Oh, it's okay. I can do it. Min's there behind the screen. She's doing this. So that's tournaments. I actually really enjoy tournaments. Me and a guy called Norman Kyogan, back in the day, the actual attire for a regional manager was crappy burgundy tie that never tied properly, white shirt, black trousers, black shoes, and a GKR. What do they call them? A GKR manager's jacket, which was embroidered on the back and so on and so on and so on. It was just like a shell suit jacket. And the ring coordinators, the guys that were in charge of all the referees and the ring coordinators, would wear full-on suit. So me and Norman had this amazing idea where Bob's in black, managers are in the stupid little jackets, and me and Norman says, "Let's wear beige." So me and Norman were walking around in beige suits, and people loved it. People actually came up to us and said, "Do you know what? We know who to come to because you guys stand out. We know who's kind of running the thing because we know Bob is, but we also know who the other guys are that to come to for complaints, for decisions, for to help out because you stand out." Yeah, well, that was knocked on the head when GKR brought out their own referee jackets that were black, which the jackets that we had were suit jackets. They were like blazers. And that was like part of the manager's tournament attire. They were meant to be tailor fitted. So when I got mine tailor fitted, I give them the fittings from my most expensive suit. All right. And it didn't fit like my most expensive suit when I got it. Each manager had to pay 90 quid, about 89.50 or something daft like that, 80 odd quid for this blazer. GKR wanted us to wear it, but GKR made us also pay for it. It's like, well, hang on a minute. You want us to wear this? You should be paying for it. But I didn't think back then. I just said, yes sir, no sir, 3 bags full. So yeah, that was a bit of a, we had to pay for it. That's like, fucking hell. We had to pay for all our stuff because it was all tax deductible. But there's no way that, somebody's going to give me 80 odd quid back for a blazer that I actually didn't want, and it fit like crap. I actually had to gain weight to make it fit, and this suit that I had, it was a Hugo Boss suit. It was a 2-piece. It was a 500 quid suit, and it fit like a glove. It was just a dream to wear. And then I took the measurements from that. Then when I got my jacket, it's like, are you taking the piss? This isn't tailor fitted. They have not taken the measurements from this suit. They've just fucking made it up as they go along, as they generally did back then, or they might do now anyway. But everything was changing every 6 months anyway. You didn't know where you were. And this is what the conferences were about as well. We had conferences, like I say, I've said in previous videos, every managed conferences every 6 months, but then in between those you'd have consultant conferences. So every 3 months you're at a conference. Well, it was at a managers conference that I was on my way down at the time. I was sort of a little bit not right, and I was sharing a room because what they used to do with the managers, used to pair them up of people that got along, or managers that were, say, if I was on, say, 800, they'd pair me up with another 800 club manager, or 800 attendance manager, or 700. So they'd pair you up accordingly. I was always paired up with Daniel Freer. And I can remember one night, Daniel Freer had his phone, and he showed me these pictures of this student in stocking suspenders. She was done up to the nines or whatever she was doing with the glasses on. That's all right, Dan. You'll know glasses. You used to call her glasses, and you said you never did anything with her. So what he did was he actually booted me out of the room, and he booted me out of the room because she was sending all these sexy pictures to him, and he's wanting to. I mean, I was gone for like 2 or 3 hours. His arms must have been aching. And the other managers were saying, where's Dan Free? I'm like, oh, he's making hockey sticks in his room. And they were like, hockey sticks? I'm like, yeah. And I had to explain what I meant. You get your sock and you... No. Never done it myself, but that's what he was doing. So yeah, he said he never slept with her, but come on. Of course you did. You're lying for? What are you lying for? I even told his missus that. I even said to her, look, this is what's happened with him. Just like I did with Carl Hughes' missus. I told them the truth. And these guys, these liars, pants are on fires. These guys have denied it to their missuses. So yeah, I actually sent Dan Freer a message, and he, I said, dude, look, you're safe. I'm not gonna say anything wrong about you because you're all right. But he got a little bit arsey. So I thought, you know what, bollocks to it. I'm coming out of it. I wasn't going to mention that, but I thought I needed to. Because again, he was a representation of GKR, and this was a GKR student / instructor, I think. Can't remember which. So yeah, you can't tell me that he's not trying to sleep with her because, I'm willing to bet. Look, everybody was at it. Everybody was doing it. GKR was a cesspool of managers sleeping with whoever they wanted. It was like I said in my first video, or first couple of videos. It was a bit like Goodfellas. Literally, when you're in, hey, my paisan, you know what I'm saying? Hey, it was like that, and you had your wife and your girlfriend, or in some cases, wife and girlfriends. So you had that, and nobody would say anything to you. It just happened. And it probably still happens today. You know, told a story about Bob McCracken. I don't know if I should say it or not. Don't know. But apparently, when he's in Singapore, he likes to go sleeping with hookers. So, yeah. Apparently. I don't know. I mean, that's just hearsay. It's just a story I was told. Again, I've got no reason to lie. So, on top of all this stuff that was going on, what happened with managers is 25 grand a year, okay, you might think that's okay, that's not a bad starting wage. I mean, it was better than national minimum wage. It was way above that. I mean, average minimum wage these days is about 300 quid a week. Maybe 250 to 300 quid a week. So you were over that. And back then it was 150 to 200. Okay, so minimum wage has risen in the years gone by. But then it was a lot of money. £500 a week was a lot of money. Why I couldn't, live on it, I've got no idea. Probably my drinking habits and my drug habit. No, I'm joking. There was no drug habits. There wasn't. I'm not the one that does drugs. Some names that I may have mentioned may have dabbled. Who knows? They may have dabbled. Yeah, they may have dabbled. I don't know. Mindy's giving me the evil eyes. No, she's not. She's smiling. She's smiling. Where was I? Oh, to top it all off. So you get 25 grand a year. Now, if you are an unperforming manager, your 25 grand gets cut in half. They take half of your income away with no notice. They did this to a guy called Andy Lambert. Okay? He was earning what he was earning, and then without any notice, next month, half income. It's like, you can't do that to somebody. You have to give them notice. Mine was, look, James, if you don't start performing, we're going to cut your income in half. You can't do that. New managers. I've been preaching. I've been preaching in my interviews. You know, when you go into manager, you earn £25,000 a year plus bonuses. Blah 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 blah. To my consultants, 25 grand a year plus bonuses. Blah 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 blah. But what they actually started new managers on when I was around, I don't know if they do that these days. I don't even know if they need managers these days because they've got dogs' bodies. Carl, Ryan, Daniel Freer, Bob. Bob Sullivan's a bitch. And Bob Sullivan doesn't do bugger all anyway. I don't think he's got a clue what he's doing these days. I think something's kicking in. So yeah, you know, they started on what they promoted as, and this is where it gets funny. Anything that was negative in GKR, they tried to put a positive spin on it. So, I don't know if you remember in my last video or the video before where I talked about a deficit of £80,000, where each region would accrue a deficit. There came a time in a manager's meeting when somebody said, one of the bigwigs, oh, that's a bottle joke, one of the bigwigs said, the deficit is zero. Everybody's region is reported zero. So nobody accrued a deficit. You would accrue the deficit over 3 months, and then it would be written off. Then you'd accrue the deficit again, and it would be written off. Minnie's like, what the fudge? Yeah, so all the people that had, and I'm telling you, my £80,000 deficit was nothing. It was nothing. There were regions, Matt Leach, that had over £100,000+ worth of deficit because you sucked as a manager. Chris Bradley, you're probably the same. They're just two losers I can think of. Their deficit was written off. So I get us out of this meeting and I looked at Bob and Bob's like, yes, James, I know. I had to work my deficit off as well. And I'm like, so you knew exactly what I was going to fecking say. You know, how is that? What? I just didn't get it. So they could accrue bonus every month, could these people. And some of them did. But the managers, the reason they got rid of they called it negative bonus. I mean, bonus is positive, negative is negative. And the reason they got rid of negative bonus and deficit is because it sounded negative. And they didn't want people focusing on the negatives. Because every time you got your profit and loss statement every month, you'd have a little bottom in the right-hand corner, and that's the only figure that mattered to me ever. And if it was in brackets, you're in a negative. If it was out of brackets, you're in a positive. So yeah, the negative bonus was written off because they didn't want people talking about negative bonus or worrying about deficit. Well, I wish you'd have freaking done that 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years later, you dickheads. So the way they sold it to new managers was, you're going to go on the 1,000 plus. 1,000 plus. That's pretty amazing. That sounds great, doesn't it? Basically, what 1,000 plus is £1,000 a month paid to you by GKR Karate, and anything over the top of that you make up via going out and knocking on freaking doors. So if you want an extra £1,000 that month, you had to go out and knocking on doors. You had to work for your money. They would squeeze and squeeze and squeeze. Now, I was sat in a meeting once, and there was a guy, Mark Woods. He's a bit of a wet lettuce anyway. One of my consultants that, Anyway, he was on the 1,000 plus program. He actually received positive bonus. Well, that's gonna happen, and he was proud. I mean, look, he got 2 or 3 grand of positive bonus over the 3 months. Well, that's okay. But that 2 or 3 grand is money you should have been paid in the first place. So you haven't got a bonus. The brainwash there is I'm on 1,000 plus, I'll work hard, I'll get bonus. The brainwash there is I'm actually moving into bonus now. No, you're not. All you've done is give up. This is the moron part. If it was a £2,000 bonus check, and you're only... It might have been close to 3 grand, okay? So over 3 months, that's 3 grand. All you've done is taken a pay cut of 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, and all they've done is give you the money that they originally promised in the first place of an extra 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, of which you're going to be taxed on, of which you're going to pay VAT on. Why do you pay VAT on it? Because they pay VAT. It's a big tax dodge. It's a big VAT dodge. It's very, very clever because they can't be touched. So these guys that were on 1,000 plus, earning £1,000 a month and getting £3,000 bonus checks, they were like, yeah, I'm in bonus. No, you're not. Because back in my day, Tinkerbell, that's what I would have got anyway. But because you're an idiot, you've taken 1,000 plus. So that's the way they promoted it, was going on 1,000 plus. 1,000 plus what? Ooh! 1,000 plus a little bit of hard work, dickhead. If you can't work it out, it's fairly simple maths. So anyone that's on 1,000 plus in GKR is a complete failure as a manager. I was going to go on to 1,000 plus. Yes, I was a complete failure. But you know what? I was a complete success. If in my 10 years, my first 10 years of management, my first 10 years of GKR, I had earned and spent over $750,000, and that was my 40%. What was their 60%? It's no wonder that Sullivan can own a yacht at 2.3 million or 3.2 million, whatever it was. I think his yacht was 1.5 million, and his house, the first stage of his house, was 3.2 million, or 3 million comes to mind somewhere. So he was building his own house while living in a caravan. I've got orange. Look like a bloody pumpkin. What does that say? Something colour clock. Let me press a button. Hey, there we go. We look normal again. Well, as normal as we possibly can look. So that was tournaments. That was pay cuts. That was, if you wanted to make extra money, you could go out knocking on doors. It was all about the members for them. It wasn't about quality. It was about quantity. It was never about the person. It was about the people. So yes, in some regards, people were GKR's greatest assets. Because if they can put 20,000 people... Now, GKR's peak in the UK. Are you ready for this? The UK used to sit at 58,000 students just in the country. That is freaking phenomenal. That is ridiculous. Now, I don't know, you're probably looking maybe 20,000 worldwide. I started to see it deteriorate. But so people are GKR's greatest assets. Now, what GKR does these days is everything's done by direct debit. So you pay X amount per month. If you don't train, you're still paid. Now, I don't agree with that. I know there are a lot of clubs out there that do that. He said do that do that. But I don't agree with that. I believe that if you're going to attend something, then you pay. If you're not going to attend, you shouldn't be charged for it. So regardless of how many people are training, you can have 10 people in a week train, but being paid by 50. Do you know what I mean? So the attendance figures are irrelevant these days. It doesn't matter how big GKR is. What matters is the amount of money they bring in. So they're not about people. The grades are given. I don't know who's sort of saying stuff, but I'll talk about my leaving later on. I'll talk about the back end of it in another video. But yeah, so the grades are given. I don't know how much bunkai these people actually know. I'll go on about my limitations in my karate as well later on another video, so I'll do that in another video. So yeah, it's all about the bottom line. Now, just an example, there was someone who was due to come train with me last week, and they'd already paid for the class, and they couldn't attend training. So I messaged this person and said, you don't pay for this week's class because you couldn't attend it for whatever reason, unforeseen circumstances. If somebody doesn't let me know they're not coming to class, then yes, I charge them because it's discourteous. So yeah, I do that, but I don't charge people for something they've not done. If you're, so you are now having to train 4, 5, 6 times a week. I don't know, 4, 5, 6 times a month just to get your money's worth. I don't know how much it is, and I can't see them making very much money out of it. So yeah, that's pretty much that. That was tournaments. That was Daniel Freya and skimming offensive top, which everyone's done. Don't tell me you haven't, because you do. You have. Everyone's done it. That's it. That's me. Done. I was going to say, unless you got any questions, but it's not live, so it's irrelevant, really. So yeah. So like I say, leave a like, leave a comment, inbox me if you need to, provide with friends on Facebook, email me if you want to. If you're a manager that's around GKR now and you think, I'm talking shite, well, try me because I'm not talking shite. I'll be more than happy to speak to you. Dan Freer told me to call him, and I'm like, so what? You want me to call you so you can deny it all again? Nah, sorry, sunshine, I'm not going to waste my time doing that. Be the big man and, tell your missus what you really got up to. What really happened. Leave a comment underneath if it's Facebook. Leave a like, leave a dislike, leave a negative comment, leave a positive comment. That's it. Subscribe. And I will see you on the next video. The next video, what should we talk about in the next video? I think the next video I'm going to talk about... the next video is going to be about...